Many people think they're strong because they can lift heavy weights, but in reality, strength isn't just a measure of how good you are in the gym or what you can pick up. In fact, there are people out there who, without ever touching a weight in their lives, can naturally accomplish feats of strength that anyone would look at and call superhuman. Ready to meet them? Let's get it on! Mohammed Romanovitch. At 60 years old, many people begin to slow down, but as far as Taekwondo master Mohammed Romanovitch was concerned, at 60, he was barely getting started. The Bosnian martial artist has gained international fame for his insanely powerful and resilient hands, which can be used to break just about anything you could imagine. Just to name a few things he flexed his inhuman hand strength, Mohammed once completely crushed an absolutely staggering 123 coconuts in a row. In 2017, he broke more than 30 baseball bats in a minute while on a Bosnian talent show, blowing away more than just the judges. And at 60 years old, he cemented his title as the man with the strongest hands on the planet by demolishing the Guinness World Record for soda cans crushed by hand, destroying 97 with just one hand. This completely blew the previous record of 74 cans out of the water. That earlier record, however, was also held by Mohammed, who clearly has no rivals besides himself. But just to be sure, he set a very high bar that no one could challenge. With that kind of destructive power at his fingertips, just imagine what he could do to a human skull. Thankfully, Mohammed only uses his powers for good, and for that, I think we should really give him a hand. Master Hoang Hui. In combat sports like wrestling or boxing, contenders use their hands or even their whole bodies to try and subdue their opponents. But Master Hoang Hui can defeat practically any opponent with nothing but a single finger. The Malaysian Kung Fu master has spent a lifetime training in his unique one-finger style, which has earned him national fame and a healthy living. Unbelievably, he's able to puncture coconuts with just a jab from his finger. Ho began training under a master of the one-finger style at 17. He later took to the streets to perform his coconut piercing trick for passersby, and was so impressive that the Malaysian government gave him a designated spot in downtown where he performs every single day. The speed with which he can crush coconuts is completely unmatched, as proven when he set a Guinness World Record in 2009 by piercing 4 coconuts in 30 seconds. But of course, the master wasn't satisfied, and in 2011 he absolutely annihilated his own record, clocking in at 12.15 seconds flat. Now that's what I call blistering speed. Francis Ngannou. There are many people who dream of being in the octagon, but anyone unlucky enough to go up against Francis Ngannou is more likely to be dreaming in the octagon. Francis is a heavyweight MMA fighter and a truly terrifying man, with a title that no amount of losses in the ring could ever strip him of. Not that he's likely to lose anyway. That's because in 2017, while training for a major fight, Francis casually set the world record for the hardest punch ever thrown. Not in the UFC or in America, but in all of recorded human history, exerting 129,000 units of force with just one fist. What's so terrifying about Francis's record is that he wasn't trying to set it. He was simply training in a gym that happened to record the force of his punches, and one of his blows was recorded as the hardest of all time. So just imagine what he could do if he were actually trying. For some reason, his opponent didn't drop out of the fight in fear for his life, but maybe he should have, as he was knocked out cold in the first round. What did he expect, daring to challenge the man with the strongest punch on earth? Vasili Kamatski. It seems like these days people will take anything to the extreme, and believe it or not, that includes slapping. It might not come as a surprise, but in Russia, slapping tournaments have become popular, and the reigning champion of the entire country is Vasili Kamatski. Originally, Vasili didn't train or prepare at all, but when he took to the stage for the first time, the humble farmer from a small Siberian village had no clue that he would become an overnight sensation. Without any intention of doing so, Vasili knocked out 2 opponents with a single slap at his first contest, something that had never been seen before in the relatively new sport. The clip of his unbelievably powerful slap went viral, making him a worldwide celebrity overnight. What might be even more frightening than the thought of how wildly strong his slaps are is how he's able to take slaps from any opponent without showing any sort of reaction. His nonchalance destroys the psyche of anyone unlucky enough to face him, but it's not like they even stood a chance to begin with when Vasili's enormous arms swing for them with devastating force. Ferraro. Oftentimes, people train for years to even be considered a superhuman. However, that's not the case with John Ferraro. By definition, John is literally a superhuman, as he holds the world record for the thickest skull ever x-rayed at nearly 3 times the thickness of an average skull. Naturally gifted with this power, John has made a career out of displaying just how tough his skull really is, putting himself through the type of training that would instantly end the life of any other person. John earned the nickname the Hammerhead with the crazy stunts he performs, like smashing hardwood boards against his head without flinching, drilling and jackhammering cinder blocks directly into his skull, and even dropping bowling balls right onto his head while balancing flaming hardwood on it. And what's perhaps his most famous feat, and his namesake, he hammers nails with nothing but his head, once hammering in 38 in a row to achieve a world record that no one in the world would ever be insane enough to even consider attempting. Talk about being hard-headed. Mohammed Rashid Nasim. Everyone has hobbies and goals in life, but Mohammed Rashid Nasim's hobbies are quite a bit more extreme than the average person. The Pakistani man is a master martial artist and dedicates his life to being one of the most fearsome and lethal people on the planet. Nasim has taken this to an unrivaled level, holding more than 50 world records and counting. While other powerful people are able to perform feats of superhuman strength or speed with one part of their body, he trains to have his entire body be an unmatched force of destruction. What I mean is, he holds records for destroying tons of different objects with different parts of his body. Among the craziest are his record for destroying 257 walnuts with his elbow in just 1 minute, meaning he smashed more than 4 every second, crushing the most cans in 60 seconds with his elbow at 77, and the record for most coconuts smashed with his head in a minute, breaking 43. It's clear that it doesn't matter whether it's objects or records, but Mohammed is without question the best in the world at breaking things. J.D. Anderson. If you ever wondered what the Juggernaut might look like in real life, just take a look at the Iceman J.D. Anderson. While he shares a nickname with a different X-Man, don't let that fool you. J.D. is a hulking behemoth with the kind of strength that people would think were a myth if it weren't for videos of him. J.D. holds 6 world records and is called the most powerful man in the world by some. He earned his Stone Cold nickname when he set the world record for most ice blocks broken by a human battering ram, where he demolished ice blocks like they were flimsy drywall. Among his other insane displays of force are his ability to bend nails against his head, and his famous frying pan rolling trick that makes the cast iron look like it's a piece of rubber. While he's built a name for himself around the world, rather than letting the success go to his head, JD focuses on inspiring others and showing them that nothing's impossible. Kareem. If you've ever hit your shin on the corner of something, you might be in for some painful flashbacks when you meet Kareem. The German martial arts master seems to have somehow not been born with the same weakness most people have in their shin bones. Either that, or he's got a superhuman talent for suppressing unbearable pain, because Kareem is all about attacking with his shins. Arguably the man with the strongest shins on the planet, Kareem holds a world record for the most baseball bats broken using only his shins. During his record attempt, he was able to shatter a whopping 64 baseball bats, and remarkably not a single bone in just a minute, meaning he broke more than 1 a second. His legs seem to fly through the thick wooden bats as if they're not even there, usually destroying them with a single swift motion. Of course, when you train by breaking bundles of 3 bats with a single kick, 1 bat probably feels like a cushion to you. Jeff Dabe. Jeff was born with naturally massive and absurdly strong hands, which made it a no-brainer for him to begin chasing a career in arm wrestling. In the 1970s, Jeff quickly ascended from amateur to the second highest-ranked arm wrestler in America. After a few years and several championships, tragedy struck, and Jeff was injured in 1986. While he was able to recover normally, he was no longer able to compete in arm wrestling tournaments. Against all odds, though, more than 25 years after his career-ending injury, when Jeff was 49 years old, he decided to return to the world of arm wrestling, and despite his age, with his naturally huge arms, it wasn't long before he was back at the top of the rankings for the entire sport. Newly invigorated, Jeff was back in the swing of things without missing a beat. It was like the last 25 years hadn't even happened, as his insane arm strength gave him an unbeatable advantage over the competition. Today, Jeff continues to compete and has become a major inspiration for athletes everywhere who, without his story, may have given up on their dreams before they even had a chance to accomplish them. Magnus Midborg. Known as the strongest man in Norway, Magnus Midborg is a climber whose skills put even the likes of Spider-Man to shame. While he may not be big like a bodybuilder or strongman, Magnus has unbelievably powerful hands, honed from a lifetime of training to climb that can pull off, no pun intended, things that most people consider to be completely impossible. For one, Magnus can perform 5 chin-ups in a row using only one finger to pull himself up. As if that weren't impressive enough, his warm-up is performing one-armed muscle-ups, an exercise that even with 2 hands requires months or even years of training to be able to accomplish. It isn't just the sheer power in his upper body that allows him to perform at such superhuman levels, because there are plenty of strong people who would never be able to climb around a chair like this without touching the floor once. Magnus possesses unmatched balance and mental composure, along with the type of determination you usually only see from superhero characters, which combine to make him one of the uncontested greatest and strongest climbers on the planet. Hey, you still there? Well, since you made it this far, here are all the shoutouts we promised everyone that commented on our previous video. If you want to be shouted out in our next upcoming video as well as the ones prior, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave a comment down below saying, "Pick me!" Once you're at it, you might as well leave a like too.